on this. He is the chairman of the very committee that is marking up this bill in the U.S. Senate, the Finance Committee. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham is with us. If anything, conservatives have been concerned about the rate of growth for Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. The president at this point is not willing to touch it. I think over time, certainly reform is going to be needed. The way Newt dealt with it with Bill Clinton was they reduced the rate of growth, but it continued to grow every year, 7% a year, every year for 7 years, twice the rate of inflation. And the net result was 5 balanced budgets in a row, and we've not balanced the budget since.
Yeah, well said. I was there in 1994. As a matter of fact, I just talked to Newt Gingrich 5 minutes ago about, Ukraine, Russia. Newt understands history, but what did we do in the 90s? We sat down with Bill Clinton and we lowered the rate of growth. We didn't cut anything. We just slowed down the pace of growth. And I don't know, do you get 7% a year pay raise? You may not. But by lowering the growth, not cutting programs, we're able to balance the budget because we cut taxes. So what are we trying to do here under President?
But by the way, can I emphasize this cut taxes thing? Because this is the largest tax cut in American history. Reagan cut taxes and Democrats predicted doom, gloom, and disaster. It resulted in a doubling of revenues to the government. 21 million new jobs were created. And at the time, it was the greatest, longest period of peacetime economic growth in history. And he did increase defense spending, but Congress spent $1.25 for every new dollar they brought in.
Yeah, well said. So the bottom line here is that the largest tax cut in history is not Reagan, it's Trump. The tax cuts expire in December. As budget chairman, if we can pass this big, beautiful bill, I've made a decision to eliminate them expiring. I've gone to current policy, not current law. That was a budget decision I made as chairman, which means if we can pass this big, beautiful bill, they never expire. The only way they would ever be taken off the table is Democrats got the House, the Senate, and the White House and abolished them. Right now, I'm making sure they never expire, which is good for the economy. What are we trying to do? We're trying to increase revenue to the government by cutting taxes, not increasing taxes. And the one thing I can tell you for sure, the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. And every time you cut taxes, the government gets more revenue. As a matter of fact, the CBO estimates of the revenue generated by tax cuts is 50% off every time they've done it. So if you apply that rule to this analysis, we're going to have about $1 trillion more than they anticipate in revenue. So if we can increase revenue and slow the growth, we'll balance the budget over time. Medicaid. Medicaid is for poor people and disabled people. Obamacare put a lot of people, millions of people, Sean, on Medicaid that are capable of working to try to put everybody under government-run health care. Medicaid reimburses at three times Medicare. So if a doctor treats a senior citizen under Medicare, they'll get $1. A Medicaid patient, they get $3. We need to level that out. Medicaid has grown 50% over the last 5 years. This bill that we're talking about reforms Medicaid with a work requirement. It slows the growth, but you're right. We'll spend $200 billion more in the next 10 years on Medicaid. We're just slowing the growth. We're going to take people off Medicaid that shouldn't be on it. Able-bodied people should be working.
In other words, people that have also lied about their income as a means of getting free health care, and there are millions of them, according to Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz, there are people in California that have no income because they get money from, tax dividends, but they own a $5 million home. The goal is to help poor people, not to put everybody in the country under government-run health care. The goal is to help people without bankrupting the country. If you're looking for Chuck Schumer and Jeffries to change the trajectory of this government, to reduce the size of the government, you're a fool. Donald Trump won because he promised to grow the economy and start controlling out-of-control spending. To my Republican colleagues, we're going to make the spending bill better. We're going to add additional spending cuts in the one big, beautiful bill. But we're going to pass this damn thing, and let me tell you why. If we don't, we're going to get destroyed as a party. In this bill is $175 billion to hire more ICE agents, to build a wall, and to have more bed space so you don't have to release people into the community to rape and murder. There's $150 billion, $144 billion for the Pentagon to make the world safer. We're going to make the tax cuts permanent. We're going to raise the debt ceiling because we don't want to default. And we're going to do 2 more reconciliation bills. To my Republican colleagues, we'll make the bill better on spending, but we're going to pass it, and we're going to pass it by July the 4th. We're going to give certainty to our economy. We're going to secure the border. We're going to help the military. And as budget chairman, I'm here to tell you, we're going to do 2 more reconciliation bills to find additional spending cuts and to do more tax cutting. This is just the first in a 3-step process.
That really warms my heart. And I do think this big, beautiful bill needs to be passed now for the reasons that you're stating. I mean, for example, if we can turn the economy around, and if I'm correct and history is correct, and that peace and prosperity drive elections, that will give Donald Trump the time that will be needed to show the American people a real recovery, because every time we've cut taxes, the economy has gone through the roof, and the economy grows and jobs are created. You can add to that $10 trillion in commitments for manufacturing that Obama said would never come back. And that includes automobiles, pharmaceuticals, and semiconductor chips. Both those last 2 are good for and vital for national security. Look, but this is very important that people understand the reconciliation process. And you are a big part of being able to bypass this as the Budget Committee chair. And the conference had apparently a discussion yesterday. You can't touch Social Security, and discretionary spending is a very small part of the budget. And I think this is important for people to know because it secures our borders. It allows us to deport illegal immigrant criminals. It also gives us money for the next generation of weaponry. It opens up energy dominance and independence. That is part of this bill. Restores law and order in the country. And the biggest tax cuts in history, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. That's a big first step to me.
So here's what I want everybody to understand. Reconciliation process allows us to cut your taxes, to give money to the Border Patrol, to hire more ICE agents, to finish building the wall, help the military without one Democratic vote. They used this process to pass Obamacare. You have to have the House, the Senate, and the White House to do reconciliation. We've had that combination 4 times in 100 years. This does not happen often. This is a golden opportunity for us, working with President Trump, to lock in the tax cuts forever, to give ICE and the Border Patrol all the money they need to implement Trump's plan for 4 years without one Democratic vote, to make the tax cuts permanent, to do the things that we promised without any Democratic votes unless we screw it up. We're going to cut spending more in the Senate than we did in the House. But we've got 4-seat majority in the Senate. We have a 4-seat majority in the House. There's only so much John Thune and Mike Johnson can do. We're going to control the growth of Medicaid. We're going to put a work requirement. We're going to reform Medicaid. We're not cutting benefits, but we should have done that a long time ago. Democrats exploded Medicaid growth, and we're going to try to control it. By making the tax cuts permanent, we're saving every family that is listening to this program, middle-class family, about $2,800. We're going to help the military who desperately needs new weapons. Now, how do we fail if we fail as a party? If we let President Trump down, if we do not seize this moment, we will, as a party, have failed those who elected us. And I'm not going to let that happen. And to those who wonder what's coming next, we're going to do another reconciliation bill to cut spending even further and to cut taxes even further.
Well, I think this is a good start. I've been around, covering this now for the majority of the last 3.5 decades. And it's the most conservative bill I've ever seen in my lifetime. And the fact that you're going to do more to cut is music to my ears. All right, quick break. More with Senator Lindsey Graham, South Carolina, on the other side. All right, we continue now with the Senate Budget Chair, and that's Lindsey Graham, on the one big, beautiful bill and whether this will, in fact, pass by the 4th of July or sometime shortly thereafter. We'll get to your calls coming up also at 800-941-SEAN. Don't forget Punchlines and Patriots. It's June 28th, 29th. You can get tickets when you go to Hannity.com. Clearwater on the 28th and Fort Lauderdale on the 29th. And surrounding areas, we hope you'll join us. Tickets are going fast. Just go to Hannity.com today. What do you make of this spat, and is there any impact of this? I think it will be temporary. I think they'll get back together between Elon Musk and President Trump.
Well, here's what I'll say about Elon Musk. I've known him for a very long time. What he's done in Doge is much appreciated. He did help President Trump, and I think he's got much to be proud of in terms of serving our country and helping our economy. Let me say this about President Trump. I've known him for a very long time. He is the right man at the right time. He's the leader of the party, not me, not anybody else. He won this election because people voted for him. They voted for him because they believed he could fix the problems Biden caused. He has done in 6 months, secured our border in a way that nobody's ever done in recorded history. We have the lowest illegal crossings in recorded history because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is on course to rebuild the military like Ronald Reagan did. Donald Trump has got everybody's attention in the world to make peace, not war. Donald Trump is going to ensure that we cut your taxes and we control spending. Donald Trump is the right person at the right time. We can make this bill better, but we only have a 4-seat majority. We have to govern the country, and there are Republicans in the Northeast and California that can't do things I can do in South Carolina. This is a political exercise. I am proud of Mike Johnson. I am proud of John Thune. I am proud of Donald Trump. I am proud of my president. I think he's the right guy at the right time. So he's not the problem. The Democrats are the problem. Donald Trump is the solution with Republicans. Let's get the big stuff right. We want to cut taxes, we want to cut spending, and we want to make the world safer. We need to work together, and Donald Trump is our leader, and I am going to help this man. We're going to pass this big, beautiful bill. We're going to make it better. Criticism to the bill is legitimate to a point, but we're going to come back and do more. So let's govern. Let's be Republicans. If you can't cut taxes and you can't control spending and you can't help the military, you're not a Republican. We're doing that in this big, beautiful bill.
No, we're going to watch it. Are you confident it's done by the 4th of July? I have about 15 seconds.
I am more confident it will pass today than I've ever been because we're shining a light on why we need this bill. It will pass. It will be better, but it will pass.
Senator Lindsey Graham, we appreciate your time.